Hello, my name's Karina. What's your name?
My name is Amanda.
Amanda. And where are you from, Amanda?
I'm from Brazil.
That's lovely. And that's level 2?
Yes.
So can I see your identification?
Yes,
please?
of course.
Very much. Thank you.
Okay.
So, very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
How are you today?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. So, we'll start with a presentation that you prepared. I'll be taking notes, so please don't worry if you see me writing.
It's all right.
Okay, and then we'll have a discussion about it. And have you got any notes for me?
Well, I have this picture of an exam preparation class.
That's fine, thank you. Okay, so would you like to start?
Yes, well, my presentation is about preparing for an exam efficiently. And it's important to keep in mind that you're not alone when it comes to preparing for an exam. For example, in the past, it must have been about 3 months ago, I took an exam and I thought I could prepare for it on my own. And there I was with a pile of books, a lot of money I spent on them actually, and doing all the work at home on my own. I didn't know anybody else was doing the exam, so it's really me. And when it came to taking the exam, I walked in the exam room and I didn't feel prepared at all. I felt so frightened of what I was going to face, and I knew there were people who had prepared more than me. So after that, I decided to take another exam. Well, it's better, keep in mind that my grades were right, but I know I could have done better. So the second time I thought, I'm going to take exam preparation classes. And I looked, and you're amazed by how many there are. I mean, they're spread all over the country, and you're bound to find one right next to you. And I was very lucky, I found one near me. And so I started doing the lessons, and it was great. It wasn't just exam preparation. I mean, I met lovely people. I have friends who I can run to when I've got a problem, and they'll be there to help me. And it didn't cost me much at all. It got to the exam, and I walked in, and I had a completely different feeling from the last time. I felt great. I felt so confident, and I knew I could do better than actually a lot of people there. And my grades were great. I was very happy with them. I know I did my best. So really, it's great to know that you can get much help around you. What people worry about sometimes is the fees. But when you consider failing an exam or not getting the grade you expected and having to retake it, and well, depending where you live, you've got bus travel, you've got train tickets. If you sum all that up, you're paying for the same amount as you would pay for preparation classes. And you come out with a better grade as well. Because what happens is, when we study at home, we can be distracted by so many things. You could be on the computer and a little Facebook notification pop up and you check it out. Or you can get hungry, pop to the fridge, and before you know it, you've completely drifted away from what you're doing. So, well, that's if you're like me, for example. I'm not very organized to do it on my own. I'd rather do it with a group and have a professional helping me. So that's what I'd advise you to do, really. And internet is there to help you, and you can find everything there. Everything is just a click away, really. So yeah, that's what I would suggest people who are taking the exam, who are unsure, and perhaps are taking the exam for the first time. It's lovely to be with other people, to gain experience and to give experience. And that's what happens, and meet new people. So word of wisdom of mine. I really did like it, and so I want to take this message on.
Okay, thank you. So I'm not quite sure. You did talk a lot about how to pay for these classes. Or,
Yes.
How is it? How can you do that? I mean, you said it's not expensive, but I didn't quite follow how you save money by doing it. I'm not quite sure how that works.
Well, you know, it is money. It is money. But you're guaranteed to come out with a better grade.
So you do have to pay the fee?
Yes, you do have to pay for exam lessons. Oh, no, not at all. You do have to pay, but people worry it's too expensive. If you add up perhaps having to retake an exam, paying for that exam again, plus all the time and the travel money you spent, that might add up to the prices for preparation lessons. So it works out the same, really.
So you're saying you should always do the preparation for
unless you're very organized and you have much experience doing it on your own, you're right, but perhaps if you're taking the exam first time, then you should probably look for help.
So how do you feel about correspondence courses?
Correspondence courses.
When you have to do all the preparation, all the studying.
Yes. Well, I think self-study is a part of every preparation courses. You have to do the work on your own. You get homework, which contributes a lot to the final, to the process, really. But when you do that, and you know you have people to help you, it's much better. And you have advice, you have help from professionals. So it is different rather than just doing it completely on your own.
But I suppose in some classes, I mean, I'm not sure if all preparation classes are as good as, they should be.
Yes.
You could get distracted by students who have different levels and different needs.
Yeah, you know what happens a lot in preparation classes? You have people who speak the same language as you. Before you know it, you're not speaking the language you're supposed to be speaking for the exam. I think the best thing is to talk to the teacher, perhaps talk to this person and say, actually, I think we need to sit away from each other. I think it's not a good idea for us to be always together, working together. So it's really organizing yourself, even in the preparation classes.
Well, I'm sure that's very good advice, and I certainly tell my students to do that.
Good. I'm happy I could help.
Thank you very much indeed. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next task now. And now I'm going to explain to you how to do something. Okay. And I'm going to tell you how to make quick bread.
All right.
It's the quickest bread in the world.
I would love to know because mine take longer.
Have you ever made bread?
Yes, I have. I've tried making bread most of the time. Oh, well, a lot of times. Hasn't really come out well. So I'm curious to know what you're going to say. Okay.
Well, my mother used to make bread and it was delicious, and I used to make bread, but it takes too long.
Yes.
And I found a really wonderful way to make it. So there's a magic ingredient in the bread recipe that I'm going to give you. Okay. So first of all, you need to assemble all the ingredients, and you need to set your temperature down to 250 centigrade if you've got an electric or gas mark 5, I think it is. You will need 4 dry ingredients and 4 wet ones. So the dry ingredients are 250 grams of flour, rye, spelt, wheat, whatever you like. A teaspoon of salt and some seeds, sunflower, pumpkin, so it's very healthy.
Yes.
And you need this magic ingredient, which is bicarbonate of soda. And that you just need a teaspoon of that.
Okay. So not much.
Not at all. And you mix these ingredients together, and then you the wet ingredients are assembled. You need 100 milliliters of yogurt and the same with milk, a tablespoon of oil, and a teaspoon of honey. And you mix everything together. The ingredients are then mixed together, and the dough is placed on an oil baking tray. And the loaf is baked for 20 minutes.
Oh, that's lovely.
That's it.
Yes, just one question. The seeds and the honey, could they be an option, or do they have to be?
No, you don't have to put the seeds
in.
It does make it very nice. You can sprinkle seeds on top as well.
I think the folks at home would prefer it seedless.
Seedless bread. I'm sure you can do that. The honey, I think, is important. You just need a teaspoon. You don't need to have very much. Obviously, the more you put in, the sweeter it gets.
It gives it a little sweet taste. Yeah,
but it doesn't. If it's just a teaspoon, it's
okay.
It's quite, you don't taste the sweet because you've got the salt.
Yes.
So did you remember what the magic ingredient was?
Yes, bicarbonate of soda.
Yes, very
you can't forget the magic ingredient.
That's the one you really need. So it works every time.
Yeah,
taught my
that's good.
children
Very
to do
good.
it.
Very good to know. Yeah, teach your children so they don't take ages like we used to.
Yeah, exactly. My children
The
think
whole
it's very-
morning making bread.
Yeah, no, it's lovely, but it's not practical.
Okay, thank you.
So good luck with that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're going to do the role play. Okay, and this is the situation. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah. So you and a colleague are working together on a project,
Okay.
but you think your colleague is not helping you enough, and I'm your colleague.
Okay. Hello, colleague.
Hi. Hi, Amanda. How are you?
Yes, I'm all right. Well, actually, I've been wanting to speak to you. I've noticed, and you haven't put much effort in our presentation recently.
But I set the whole project up.
Well, actually, we did it together. I have to say, you did come up with great ideas. You came up with most of the ideas, but we did do it together. And since then...
Well, before you came on the project, I'd actually done an awful lot of the groundwork.
Okay. Yes, that's fine. I understand this.
It has been going on quite some time.
Yes, all right.
You know.
But for the past 2 weeks or so, I've been doing it on my own. So I think we've got to a point now where we're leveled up. You did a lot at the beginning, and I've done a lot now. So I really do think it's time we come together.
Well, you haven't been doing all of it on your own in the last couple of weeks.
Well, it's weird you should say that, because you haven't really looked. I mean, we haven't spoken about anything.
No.
We haven't talked about what's been going on. So
Well, I've had an awful lot on, and my children have been off sick this week as well.
Well, I understand this.
And I did leave instructions in my absence.
Yes, I do understand this, and I am very sorry to be saying this, but it can't be going on for any longer. I understand your children are not well, but we need to come to a conclusion. It's about time we divide everything equally. I know you've given me instructions, and thank you very much for that, but I need a bit more than that. I actually need your help rather than just instructions.
Well, I noticed that you haven't been here all the time either. Even whilst I've been away, you know, you've also been off, and I don't know what the reason is for that.
Yes, I mean, children are a problem. The same way you have problems with your children, I have with mine as well. But there wasn't much problem. I mean, there was just once or twice I had to go out of work because they had problem at school. They get to a certain age and, you know, they have problems with schools and detentions, and so I had to go out, but that was just one or twice.
And you have been late a couple of times as well, late arriving.
Yes, but since the beginning, I've told you I live 2 hours away, and getting the train here could be a pain sometimes, and I'm not responsible for a train being late. Even though I take the earlier train, I could still get here late, and this is in my job application. I mean, I mentioned it before starting here, so you should be aware of this.
Yes, well then we have to come to some kind of arrangement and agreement on how we proceed from here, because it's quite frustrating if we both feel this way.
Of course, I see where you're coming from. So, as I said, I think it's about time we divide everything. If we're not going to work together, it's all right, together in the same place, I mean. But we have to get the work and divide it equally and do it on our own and then put it together somehow.
Well, I've been thinking the same thing, because I've been quite frustrated about the process. So, you know, I mean, I'm glad we've actually had this conversation.
Yes, I mean, I thought it would be a grown-up thing to do, as we need to come to a conclusion, because soon we'll have to hand it in and it won't be ready. So I guess our conclusion is to talk together, divide it equally, and then put it together afterwards.
Well, let's make an appointment to
okay,
sit
yes,
down and
that's
work it
fine.
out.
Yes,
Okay.
all right, that's fine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so that's the end of this part.
Okay.
So if you'd like to work with the other students,
All right.
and I'll call you for the group discussion a bit later.
All right,
Okay?
thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Very nice
Thank
to meet
you.
you.
Nice to meet you too.